The Last of Us Part 2 official story trailer. Oh boy, here we go. I don't know if you guys heard, it's been a controversial week for The Last of Us Part 2, Naughty Dog, and all that included. All those leaks that happened. Yeah, I did end up reading some of them. I'll talk about some of my opinions towards what may be true about said video game. If anything, I'm more so bummed of the reception that it's getting from fandom before the games come out. That's not exactly an attack against fandom, and that's not exactly a defense for The Last of Us Part 2 either. It's just a bummer, really, because The Last of Us was the video game that got me back into gaming, that got me back into completing video games, as a lot of you guys as well. I've been really anticipating this game. So it's just a bummer when something that was so positively anticipated has now been getting so much backlash off of its leaks. I'm just being honest. Anyway, I'll talk more about that afterwards, but in the meantime, let's see what's in store with the story trailer, okay?
I know you wish things were different.
Oh, so beautiful. Still looks great, huh? I know you wish things were different. What a weird, ironic way to start off the trailer.
Ellie! But they ain't.
Please stop. I'm leaving tomorrow.
To do this smart, we'd be leaving Jackson vulnerable.
Do they just get to get away with this?
How'd you find us?
You can't stop this.
I want you one.
Man, I love the music. Tone and the atmosphere is still cool.
I really hope you make it.
I have to finish it.
There's a cost.
Damn.
We could have killed you. Maybe you should have.
Not a lot of Abby in that trailer, is there? I was wondering if they're gonna try to, show some of that. I mean, I'm gonna give the game a chance. And before I go a little further than that, really quick, I think the trailer itself of what we got here is pretty great. I love the tone, I love the atmosphere, I love the mood. It's pretty much everything that we've come to expect from The Last of Us Part 2 by this point. In terms of being a story trailer, I wonder how much they reworked any of this in the editing room, where they're like, maybe there's a halfway point where we can hint at that we're not really gonna be using Joel, but we can at least hone in on the using Ellie portion of the game. I don't know. I think, like, in terms of a cool cinematic story trailer, I thought it was a gripping trailer. That being said, the reason I'm gonna give the game a chance, regardless of whether or not the leaks are true, which it seems like they are, there was a video game, I don't know if you guys have played it, you probably have, because it's one of the most popular video games of all time, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Metal Gear Solid, you play as Solid Snake, and it was this glorious game. And Metal Gear Solid 2 is one of my all-time favorite video games. And in that game, majority of it, you're not playing as Solid Snake. You're playing as some guy named Raiden. And I know there was still like a little bit of backlash that occurred with the fact that you weren't playing as Solid Snake for majority of the game, but I think for the most part, it became a rather beloved video game. I do think though, however, if that game had a leak that you're not playing as Solid Snake and you're playing as Raiden for like 95% of that video game, I would imagine there would be an uproar from the fandom community. Now, it's not exactly the same thing with The Last of Us because, I mean, there's been multiple trailers. It can feel like we've been misled. And then, of course, with the political climate that we're living in, it's easy to take the plot points that we're hearing about, sort of make it about potential political reasoning behind the game. And that's kind of why I haven't been infuriated by it, because I've more so been hearing about like SJW crap instead of actually taking time to absorb the plot points that occur in the video game. So my mind hasn't even been thinking about the actual plot points. It's been so more thinking about the way how this has become a political argument, right? But looking at the actual plot points itself, I can see it going both ways. I can see myself getting really upset. Like playing the game, switching this Abby character halfway through, you're taking characters that are our heroes in the last one and you're shifting the perspective and making them villainous. I could see that being a really upsetting thing, but I also think that with the amount of attention to detail and time they've taken developing this game, not just in terms of graphics and world building, but also storytelling, that maybe, just maybe, and this is why I'm giving it a chance, because it's one thing to hear plot points. It's another thing when you're playing a video game for several hours on end, you're getting absorbed into the storytelling, into the moment, that when you're getting the full context, it could actually work. I don't know if it will. I have no idea if it'll actually work. Initially hearing it, it is off-putting. I'll admit that. When I initially hear it, I'm like, the idea of what happens to Joel, Ellie being viewed as a villain, and then playing as this Abby character, like first time hearing it, like that's not what I wanted, you know. And maybe this is me just being hopeful because of the fact that I've been looking forward to this game for so long and how much passion has been put into this project. There's a part of me that thinks the concept of shifting perspectives can be cool. I just really would rather give it a shot to see how I feel based off of actually playing the game. I know there's gonna be some people who are gonna play it out of morbid curiosity at this point, who are really loathing what they've heard, but are gonna give it a shot anyway, probably going in with a negative mentality. And there's gonna be some people, I'm sure, who will probably absolutely refuse to play the game, and there's probably gonna be some people like me who are being a little bit more hopeful that perhaps hearing just the actual beats of the story don't work for them, but maybe through playing the video game, it'll actually work. Like I said, Metal Gear Solid 2, if I had heard that, I would have been annoyed, but playing the game itself, I love that video game. If they didn't just, you know, off Solid Snake in that video game. So there's a major difference here, because that game did something where it's like you're seeing Solid Snake through the perspective of Raiden through a lot of the video games. So shifting perspectives, I think, can be cool, but they don't kill off Solid Snake. So that's a major difference automatically with that video game. I think it's a bold move. I'm gonna play it and I'll give my honest opinion of the video game. After all said and done, it might be the first video game review I've ever done on this channel, just because of how much the first game means to me. But yeah, there's one thing that really does bum me out about those links. It is what happens with Joel. Now, what they do with Joel, what I'll say about that is if they only do things just for like subverting expectation value or shock value, instead of really doing it for strong storytelling purposes where you can really be absorbed into the perspective of Abby, then that will be very frustrating. At the end of the day, everything is all about execution. It still bums me out for all the negativity it's been getting. And I'm not saying it's it's not deserved. It just sucks when something that you've already sold yourself on that you're gonna love is now getting so much hate, you know? Are you guys still gonna play The Last of Us Part 2? Let me know your thoughts down below. I love the story trailer. I love all the trailers and clips we've gotten of the game so far. I'm sure regardless, the gameplay will be a total blast, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of things on to think of like Game of Thrones Season 8. You know, like there was a lot of actual in-depth storytelling things that were not as good as the prior seasons, but on a technical achievement scale, there's a lot of beautiful things that HBO had never done before that they really pulled off. And maybe worst case scenario, that's what we can get with this video game. Okay, the storytelling things still upset me, but there's technical achievements that were completed in this video game that I hadn't experienced in any other games before, and that made it worth it. So that's probably a safe guarantee. I just really want to like this, you know? Like I was holding on to it. Just trying to salvage the love. Anyway, guys, let me know if you're gonna still play the game or not. Leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell to get notified whenever we got a YouTube video up. Last but not least, Andrew Hayes. Andrew Hayes, how's it going, dude? Andrew Hayes has been one of our longest patrons. He's been on this channel before, a gamer himself. He has his own YouTube channel, often talks about movies and wrestling and whatnot. Andrew, I just want to give you a sincere shout out, buddy. We were doing a live stream on Action Industries YouTube channel, Ben Bateman, Andrew Guy from the Schmodown. You popped up in the chat, and then we started riffing about you for a little bit, just how much of a really fun, generous, sweet human being you are. I just want you to know I love you, dude, and I hope you enjoyed this game if you end up playing it or not. Yeah, I just want to take a moment out to say thank you, because bringing you up in that stream and knowing that we actually had a chance to become real buddies, you mean a lot to me. So thank you for being you, dude. And I hope one day you do get to play Wolverine on the big screen. Or in a fan film. Whichever one.